Hilang. Halo semuanya. Halo. Gokil Bang. Moses, mantap. Aduh, aduh. Ada tangi Cok mau. Wah. 2-0 kah iki? Pepper X 2-0 kah iki? Apakah iya 2-0? Storeku elek Cok. Terus tak delok. Aduh, udah aku like Bang Moses. Terima kasih Bang Welly. Terima kasih, terima kasih. Agendanya apa nggak tahu Bang. Mau nonton Pepper X Bang, nggak bisa tidur. Nggak bisa tidur Bang, tolong Bang. Saya tak chat main YouTube sini. Tangi jam piro? Boh, rada bengi sih mau. Soalnya gek turu sorean, kan mau lungo. Met sibuk kok saiki ya. Sok sibuk. Terus diturin Bang Wel. Aduh, aduh, jangan Bang. Takut Bang. Takut Bang. Ah, ah, ah. Matanya sok sibuk. Jok, sok sibuk, Jok. Piye, hari ini gimana? Buh, CS lur. PB ya kok saya. PB cuy. PB cuy, main PB cuy. Itu banting setir turun PB. Sedih sih ini aku main PB. Pusing, Cok. Aku itu ben dorong turu, Met. Karena bendolan isi citar. Yo, balas dengan cheat juga tuh ya. Cheat lawan dengan cheat. Biasanya aku wis turu, Cok, wis ngorok, Cok. Cok gak pergi. Oh, pray. Hmm. Apa kok pray? Kenapa gak minggu? Pray. Kenapa kok Sabtu? 01. Kini tak ketokno di band gak ini? Gak apa-apa ya, wong subscribe gitu ya. Loh, iki ngentot. Goblok.
Just above the sign of market.
Display 2, display 3.
It's a specific counter-strike pistol, and Loud just happened to utterly
Malah
destroy
kamer
it.
DM aku ngechat Noel mau.
And now Paper Egg stacking towards the A side.
Smoke and mid in the exact same fashion, hoping that somebody
Anjay.
sees it. Just a call, like there could be that.
Tau ya.
Less completely alone.
Balik Mei,
He's going to get overwhelmed. And now Paper X are going to understand that this was fake pressure early on, over towards A. So Salek's got to accelerate
Soalnya
into
Jumat.
the B site.
Nek Jumat kan
You've always got to be worried with
dia ini
Paper Rex
sama
because
main.
there's still one player hanging around this area. It's going to slow them down slightly.
Tapi lali mau dungpret be Afri jane meh rene.
Showcase.
Tapi turu cok aku cok.
Making sure they're into the back of the site.
Aduh.
Players though, deep flash. Along with that, I mean a dizzy.
Flashnya
Man,
akeh
everybody
cok.
collided and collected into that deep corner.
Pak, iya
here,
ini
but they just
saatnya,
don't have the
guys.
weaponry to really nail them. The paranoia was fantastic, and maybe more so. One player to stand. It's 2 years on 1 HP. Smoking onto the spike. It's turned just like that.
Ono Breeze, ono
Up,
Phoenix.
Divide, blocking it. Has to be broken here, but a reload for 2 years now, and he's so low that it just feels like he can't get the spam bullets on spraying through.
Mutiara,
Just needs one
Mutiara.
to really hit and connect. It's not.
Nice.
It's a massacre thrifting.
Nice.
Divine
Nice.
even cleaning up 2Es at the end. He can't recover the rifle, but what a round for Paper Rex. And that is immediately in round 2 showing you some of the power that Paper Rex have on defense. And it comes down to the fact that their comp is so good for flood defending into B. That flood defending back B is one of the most successful
Mantap.
ways you can possibly play
Tapi
this
kapan
map.
mes join sport?
And when you have flash
Aku
dizzy combos to
nggak
get into
fokus
backside,
begitu.
and then
Nanti aku nggak
safe
bisa
walls to
menghibur
blocks the
kalian.
off and
Kalian
smokes
gimana?
additionally too. Loud are going to find it difficult in post-plant situations.
Nice, 4 spotted here.
Mas, aku lebih memilih menghibur kalian bro daripada menjadi pro player bro.
Danger is there in this round. Maybe if 2 years are able to just flip the back.
Karena saya tidak mampu dan saya
Doesn't. He's a
jing
good though.
jeblok.
2Es is fast to get into position to make the play.
Saya lebih
Two players
bahagia
double
jika
up
bersama
lines,
kalian.
looking to re-clear.
Yeah, good level of awareness.
Forsaken also with
Fire
pretty decent
naik.
awareness on the other side.
Free Fire belum pernah nyoba bro.
Yeah, into this corner, he's really
Mau
stuck here.
gabung
There's
di
no
tim JKT aja deh
repositioning,
kalau
they've
Free Fire.
overwhelmed them. Doesn't matter about the superior weaponry. Needs to be that refight, the re-peek as well. A little bit strangling the beast that is their
Mutiara.
rifles. Aftershock can't be walking too far into this one. Dodging of the flash. Dizzy up into
Oh, yeah,
the
yeah,
air, but Salak, he's taking a fight straight to them, and now frustration really showing. Dodging at the timing. No, the dart just revealed. Towards the back, and it's back-to-back thrifties, man.
MasterCard are getting their money's worth today. I mean, we're coming off the
Thrifty,
back of the
dibalas
Sen GG
Thrifty.
game where we just had Thrifties over and over and over too. I'm confused though. In what way?
Sehingga round ini kembali menjadi normal
He can
lagi.
walk backwards whilst keeping his crosshair focused towards A link. They could have set up a double phase.
Jadi rugi. Rugi dong.
Looking to try to take the fight. I assumed he was just going to continue backing up.
Oh,
Very odd.
shit.
Opened up the
Nah.
door though for Loud. Opportunism.
Shit. Nah, iki ndelok recon iki.
And then the second round
Oh,
and getting things back
kono.
on track. There's that same smoke to try to deny.
Oh my goodness, you're
Oke,
joking.
oke. Berani saya pakai sofa di sini sekarang.
Not again,
With
that's
the
a
spike.
spike dropped. And they've gained control and ground and another kill. You
Wah.
cannot be doing this to me now.
Drifting naik kah?
Telling you,
Drifting naik kah?
the MasterCard representatives will be very happy, but
Ayo kon, mampus kon.
exactly the most picture-perfect Valorant that we've ever seen here.
Saya-
Wingman alerting the presence, at least to know now that a few Loud
Mungkin
players
nek
are
Phoenix
here.
aku
Smash
sek wani
drop
deh.
down, but it's coordinated
Maksudnya,
well, and they've obtained those rifles
iya.
and they're using it to great success.
Untuk
Now, having a really
meninggalkan
explosive way through.
teman-teman ki
Spike up, but
kecil
listen,
kan lah kemungkinannya, ya dah. Nek Jet kan bisa sembarangan ngedes aku.
you can't overcome it.
Ngawur.
It's a-
Mampus! Anjay, halo Mas Noel, piye? Lanjut
This
main
is
dong, Pak.
ridiculous. This is so
Bingung,
similar
Mas,
to
aku.
Split with Sen Gen G. The aggression
Nah.
coming out very
Tak
similar
kira
to the
lanjut
pistol
main.
round. And Loud. Think
Mau
of
aku
things
ngecek
from their
store
perspective
tok.
just for a moment here. They're in an elimination
Oh,
game.
dia
The
nek ono
pressure is
Oni
on.
iku lho.
They're playing against a difficult
Biasanya nek
opponent.
gue
They've only
TTM
matched
cek
up
rata.
against once, and they
Dan
lost
nek
that
TTM
fight.
wajar sih mas kedua.
Expectations are mounting for them to try to make a
Mungkin
podium
mbok
finish. You
gue
get the
noe
pistol win,
langsung kompe.
throw it away, you win it back, and it disappears out of your hands again.
Relation to disappointment back again here for Loud.
A true roller coaster of emotions. Now, Kalenzian's trying to
TTM,
get Tiles to use this fault line that goes sideways and covers both sides, and they use it to pick off something. So once again, Bren, the team with worse
Asu,
utilities winning
gitu
it
lagi.
out.
Okay.
I said
Masa kamu
worse
tuku
utility, I
kartu
scrambled my
Bren?
words. I meant worse weaponry. The utility was fantastic.
Oh, gak mas, gak tuku,
But
gak
that's
tuku.
Kalenzian
Aku dah.
trying to get that deep
aku
Tiles
gak
position,
tuku.
and this time no one from
Soalnya-
Paper punishes him for it.
Jene
Game of playing
Nggak-
over various different areas of
nggak
map
cocok,
control and
Mas.
a little bit of gambling of where Paper X want to fight.
CK will lead the charge here. Making much all the areas are cleared. We're into the side, Kawazine.
Ajane apik lek semisal ono Omen atau Astra ngono lah.
2 left to stand, 2 left to fight. Paper X. What have they got in them? Yeah, really wide face there, and he's just going to get beamed down straight through the wall. Devi does have the money to make a go of this, but does he really still opt into it?
The thing is, their economy is still in a good spot because
Jangan lupa di like, cuk, biar MVP.
the tombola machine. You never know what's coming out the other side, and we're all getting shaken up and down.
Ayo, fight.
Backside position though, quickly, Devi is going to be swarmed from this position. Molly at the
Oh,
feet.
shit.
Down
Wow.
and a nailed shot, man. I mean,
Ya, Rano.
so much precision there.
Not saying it again.
Mentok
Don't say it
paling
again, okay.
Saki.
I mean, I'll do it. I'll activate the sponsors. I'll make them happy. MasterCard Thrifty.
Look, Loud are now in a position though where
Apik
they're
saja
starting to
nih.
get huge ultimates online. Their composition has ults that you need like 7, 8 points to be able to get online. You're not supposed to really have access to these big
Serang.
ultimates as soon as the economy starts going
Oke,
for your
Mas.
opponent. But Paper X
Iki
are one away from being broken here.
Fokus
Not that that means
menggundam sih, weh.
And now Lauda pretty
Fokus
close to some
gundam
big
dulu.
ults. Now I'm looking at Kawanzin's position.
Walaupun nggak
He
tahu
sends an
ngerakit
early
kapan.
fault line up towards A and is trying to take space off the back of this recon. But look, he is quite
Saya meh tak
exposed.
toto kamarku, cuma
He's trying to take this tiles position.
piye
The
terlalu
second fault
kebak
line
iki nih
allows
loh.
for a later re-clear over towards A.
Baju loh, jadi males.
Forsaken looking to fight
Nah,
there.
tak delehno ndi.
Operator.
Quite slow and steady though. Cautious.
But they have multiple tools for these map control plays, and this time deciding to invest the drone. No tag, so no ult from
Dam
Sadak.
kok nek wis kerak keselan,
And if you break it, you
Crack
give
it.
away that there was serious pressure behind that.
Hanging up onto the top of it. I mean, Devi loves to play on top of this here. Great flash. Taken, rattles off a few bullets, lets them know his presence. Knife's going to be sent into the opposite direction there with 2 tags as he seeks to try and make a go of this one here. Pop Flash plays the Hunter's Fury at his back to set it up, and then we're in anti-flash position. Okay, so Loud have the protocols to deal with that.
merah sama.
Salves
Waduh,
now into this site. Will they choose to use any more ultimates? A bit of
ojo aku Mas, kowe ae, kowe ngejak, aku tak melu.
Phantom at play at work.
Seconds left.
It's a bit of chip damage, but nothing really
Here
more
comes
to
the
show
flow.
for
Minggu
it.
itu lah.
Here it is.
Players blinded.
Main sebelum sahur lah.
Dizzy on top of it, Rolling Thunder now
Skip
has to
2
be
game
cleared
lumayan.
back. Slow to a crawl.
Yang penting
Les
bisa
is a
mendengarkan
monster
suara
in this spot.
kami.
Particular position and
Kami.
the attempt here, they just want to barrel over the smoke position.
Kami.
Something, no chance here on the retake, not with the operator now, so he has to just run tail between his legs.
Paper X's composition is fantastic on those A retakes. You saw the amount of utility that was flying towards Loud, and they still managed to come out the other side unscathed. Mostly, I think, due to the fact that Kawanzin had managed to save his ultimate. They were thinking about investing
Kita
it.
aja
You could see Kawanzin positioned
gaskan.
in a spot where he was thinking of ulting sight towards A. But they
Kami.
took the gamble, saved it for the post plant, came out to the
Kami.
good.
Kami.
Now Kawanzin
Kami.
Taking already up.
Kawanzin dying to spike there. Don't ask me.
Luckily they've got money to spare.
Yeah. But that's a great punish onto Forsaken. Unless choosing to try to take the aggressive option, not caught by any of that retake utility. It was perfect. Les and Kawanzin stepping up for Loud.
Yeah, and now a timeout being taken here for Paper X. The trouble is, how do you get a grip in terms of what is replicatable? Because the rounds that you're winning have been you know, seemingly down to just hitting a few stray shots, going for the mid-aggression.
Well, you can clearly see that they have an anti-strat prep with regards to Monyak's smoke to try to deny info for Sadak's recon, right? So maybe you try to lean into that a little more and put pressure onto tiles. That was clearly their game plan coming in, and just because you lost the pistol round doesn't mean that you're always going to lose a fight happening there. But I think the other part of it too
Mana ini
is
lur?
that they just allowed, because of the craziness of how this map began, allowed to start getting some big ults online. And to be honest, in my opinion, that was the biggest problem there. If Paper X had been able to run that same retake scenario, but without the breach ult, I really think they're favored.
Looked like it.
And it is so important in moments like this to not overcorrect. If you have the
YouTube ki
right
bitrate nek
ideas
apik piro ya?
and they're just not working, you might still want to stick to them. Like I was talking about earlier, Paper X do have a lot of variance in the way that they play. When you have two teams like this that are so down to just opt into fighting against each other.
Mata nih.
It is going to vary.
Ngeri, Cuk.
Form is going to play an enormous factor.
Feel like just a coin flip at times here. We could buy 4 Paper X. We'll see if it makes a difference. Mindfreak is sole recipient of the
replace,
rifle.
okay.
He's going to be holding down a B angle just by himself here.
Iki 10.000.
It's going to be
10.000.
acknowledgement there with the Dizzy going down, so they know that there's players lurking around a slow default
Cuma
play.
nek
Which, you know,
luwih
if there's
dhuwur
anything
meneh,
added, he always
mungkin
knows
luwih
aloud.
cakep ya.
And you can see that Loud are starting these rounds really passively. They're making sure to not go for any deep plays over towards mid.
Or Mindfreak.
Barely going into B main until just now. Spot the shoulder of Mindfreak and he hops away. Did they even really get confirmation there that he has a rifle? I'm not sure.
Mindfreak position. Always trying to tuck himself up onto the box here. Are they even going to be aware of it through slow warp at their feet? Kawazine, a few random bullets. He might think it's cleared. It's not. Patience played to perfection here by Mindfreak. Might be looking for a few more still. He's dropped down to 2 of them. Divide has a gun of his own now.
Wah,
Ready
ini.
for the spray down revealed. Tucks to the corner
Dapat,
side
dapat.
out and wide
Anjing.
but less. We'll put him down and put him to rest here.
Oh,
Dodging
dia
the flash, but he's got a
drop,
lot to
dok.
overcome now.
Oh, gak kena.
Shane flipped around, weaponry handed over. Discipline honed and ready, showcased by Paper X. Now listen, the spike is on Less's side, but he's going to have no opportunity to really get a free plan off here.
Lunga A weh, lunga A, lunga A.
Running through it,
Bajingan nih.
Monyet, and there it is. Round 1, they know it, tucked to the
Waduh,
corner
ngeri,
something.
Cuk. Anjing,
Recognizing
anjing.
the win conditions.
Waduh.
Guess what? Another Massacre Thrifty.
Waduh.
And also an ace. Just to cap off how absolutely crazy this game has been. We have another Thrifty round, powered by Mindfreak being able to get a Q play in this corner and
Nice
Kawazine not really able to clear it. Divide following up with the rifle. And Les does what he can, but it's not enough. Taking the risk, playing for that variance, and it pays off for Mindfreak. Now Loud, change up the pace.
Oh my goodness. It's Paper X.
Monyet,
Taking the fight
monyet.
straight to them. Yeah, Loud opted into that pace increase. They wanted to try and fight it. It ends up them being punished. One-way smoke as well. This is just sharpness on display.
That's wild. That caught me completely off guard. I mean, Loud have been playing such slow defaults to start these rounds off. Focused on A-main control, but not that fast. Forsaken almost caught a timing.
Sees
Surely
it.
will.
With the gun, yeah, sticking wide and out. Tap, tap, tap. The AD. Yes, 2 years survives the duel and encounter. Has the spike in his hands, but he'd have to do a lot more than that to make this winnable, especially when he's on 8 HP.
And I'm not exactly sure what the read was there for Sadok in this round, but Paper X have been fighting with 2 or 3 players every single time over towards A-main. I think you've got to start trying to take space in the early round somewhere else on the map. You can go back and late re-clear with the fault line or the drone. Trying to
Tuyuls.
just run in and take that fight straight up is going to be so difficult. There are so many tools, though, that Paper X have at their disposal with this no duelist composition. If you ignore A-main completely, sometimes Divide might just wall it off, and then they can just ignore it. I mean, what are the chances that both teams just decide to fight A-main that fast?
si
The
kira.
flash connections were so perfect. Paper X fight through all of the smoke utility to get the kills.
Yeah, not just the flash connections, I mean the shots on target too.
Yeah. And that was something that I was a little concerned about going into this game, actually. Loud are going to take a tactical timeout, but I felt like from what we had seen over the course of the rest of this
Nom
tournament,
dulu,
we
Bang.
had more players stepping up with their individual form. You know,
Teh,
Les is
ojo,
just consistent. He's always a monstrous player. But I feel like QCK's had some big moments. Tuiz has been playing better than expected too, and Kawanzi's been like putting in some solid work at times. When I was looking at the other side of things for Paper X, it was only really Forsaken that was blowing me away. Something had some big moments, but wasn't always there. Today, he's been on fire. If you want to look at one individual that turned the tide of Ascent, it would be something with the operator in his hand. And you've also been getting better and better performances from Monyet as he spends more time with pressure on him on the stage.
Something that Alex has been alluding to as well in these interviews, but just that stage experience being so valuable for a team like Paper X when they've been making these adjustments, trying to find that identity, I think. But listen, if it's form that carried them to this point right now, the ideas and time are kind of flourishing, honestly. They've got good reads, they've got good adaptations, they've got good counter strats prepped and planned. They're making it so damn hard right now for Loud to try and deal with.
Again, PaperX start 3 players ready to fight over A. And Loud go for the exact same default setup again. You know, Sova, Viper over towards A, Cowanzine in tiles. Ready for any kind of mid-aggression, sure, but not actually taking aggressive map control in B main or market, anything like that.
Through mid, face wide, doubled up in the high-low, but no casualties or
Bullet.
kills. Hit Divide, he's making a go of it, he's making a mess of it. It's Kawazun who puts him to rest.
Yeah, the Mosh got a kill, and Sadak's just sticking the orb right in the middle of all of these guys' faces.
Oh, win. Oh, no.
Wait!
He's what? What's going on?
That's wild! Just hoping that he would find another player involved.
What the fuck, bro?
But something gets the response, and it's all left to Tui's, who, of course, is not in A main where the fight is happening.
No, he wouldn't be. He'd be on the other side of the map, of
And
course.
He certainly is, without the Omen ult to be able to make the play happen. Thrash hunting him out. Smells blood in the water.
Wah, gak
Might get
tekanan.
sniffed this time.
Misdirection might be working to the
30
favor
seconds
of
left.
2 years. Now, time pressure will work against him. Spike is dropped down into no man's land.
If something gives him a free kill, though, this is winnable.
That's how the clutch really begins, but he was just aiming in the wrong location. 4 kills in the round for something.
And this round, Loud did actually try to... It wasn't early round market control, but QCK started walking into mid after they realized PaperX weren't fighting it, and then was looking to prod towards that area of the map.
Yeah.
But there was no smoke up towards top mid, not enough players in mid to dominate those sight lines. And so there's a kerfuffle that happens over there that PaperX come out, I guess, to the good. And Sadak's trying to make it fake like it's happening over towards A, and the PaperX players just peek. The more mess that's involved here, the more I think you start playing towards PaperX's strengths.
Fast play again. Deep molly, deep dart, flash into the corner. Munyet's here with the judge. No clearance. No clearance. It's starting to get sloppy. It's starting to get sloppy indeed. And guess what? Exactly where a team like PaperX
Dipangan nih,
thrives.
dikamot nih.
Pound for pound, this team, they were born and bred in the chaos. And they're showcasing exactly why you can never underestimate this squad still. Yeah. Walks straight into it, 2 years, again, brought into essentially an unwinnable scenario.
Another round, another Loud player
Surrounded.
in a 1vx, completely surrounded.
Yep.
And PaperX,
Let's go, let's go.
they're really not adjusting their defensive setup too much. It's that Loud cannot come up with the answers. We've now seen 4 rounds in a row, roughly following the same kind of trend, where Loud want to take control of A and push PaperX back, and they can't figure out how. The judge, the paranoia, the swings from both sides, just getting pulled into the maw of PaperX.
I saw smiles on the faces of the PaperX players. Of course it would be.
Yeah, not the coach.
Never, Alex.
Goceng
It's
lu
scary when
pemainnya
he smiles,
guyang-guyu.
actually, you don't expect it.
This is the first time PaperX decide not to fight over towards A, so we might see a very different round
Thì
here.
còn
Loud are actually being given this space. PaperX anticipating that they would change it up. Surely they don't go A main again after we've just been beating them.
Allowed not to be deterred, though. One away from the ultimates. Sanak builds up his. Deep drone that wasn't used to clear elbow, so they can start to use that now towards the site. Munyet, his position is vulnerable here. It's a pop flash play to set him up with a bit of supportive utility. He wants to disengage now with a smoke dropped down. No command, feeling the heat, feeling the pressure.
That's a weird one, actually, because it looks like they're playing for retake, but they've popped the null command. And Loud think that they're anchoring the site, so they haven't
Riceo
committed.
main ulti
This is a
anjing.
strange standoff.
Line in the sand has been drawn. Deep TP into mid here, 2 years. Believe just sticking that one, so he's
Tahan,
given
tahan,
himself
tahan.
deep position to mid. Probably won't matter too much. Munyet might be eager though for a challenge here. How's your reaction time, son? Flashes on flashes. Paranoia to meet their match. And a deep dart as well. That's not going to be accounted for. Hunter's Fury though tucks into it, gets the connection, gets the collision course straight into these players. And Munyet does a decent job of just avoiding it.
Anjing.
Dodging, ducking, weaving, but
Nice.
there and a repeat with the Outlaw. Something has something
Oh.
to say. On a reload online, shock dart, Stow, jumping around.
Mod
and
ya
finish.
robot.
And
Nice.
ready for the taking.
Even when Loud are given control of elbow, PaperX still find a way to come out on top. This
Yoi
is
bro,
5
mod
rounds in a
ya
row
bro.
now. After a very back and forth beginning, when no team could really
Pierre.
handle on the economy,
Yo.
everything that Loud tries, bearing in mind that this was a lower eco buy as well, but it's all just been getting crushed. Surely Loud are going to change things up. And this time their attacking setup, does look slightly different. PaperX have already anticipated it though.
Mid.
Tiles, flash
Play for
mid.
mid. When it's here already, forwards
Nice.
in the approach, and he is set up with that util. Run up
Nice.
dealt with, and dropped immediately. These ults just tumbling before our very eyes here. The deep hit into B main.
It is a great read though from Les. He realizes that if they're fighting over mid, they can't be doing their normal A setup. So he takes this timing into elbow. There is a chance that a bullet could find the back of something's head here.
Yeah, he's not watching for it, and so he will be falling. Flatlined to the side, and a sight gains now for Les. Going to be calling for the rotate and the pivot. Smokes.
He could drop a pit.
Falling down, he certainly could, and really turn this into more than a winnable spot with 2 years. In that late lurk player dropping like flies.
Patuh.
2v3 here, Loud have a massive advantage here with the pit, with the Rolling Thunder. Really just letting it loose and letting it rip here. Sky high, that's Devi. He's going to be flying forwards and won't be able to withstand any sort of pressure there, leaving it just to Mindfreak now.
Mindfreak's been good at catching 2Es in all of these previous rounds, but finally 2Es gets his value on the lurk. Loud with 5, but questions in my head about whether or not that's going to be enough.
Who knows?
There was a serious streak there of dominance from PaperX on the defense side, and I do like the way that PaperX play their attack too. I think both of these teams are very competent in Sunset. Still, anybody's game, but Loud, the team under the most pressure.
Of course. Listen, it's elimination. They're already one map behind. It's going to have to be that comeback, starting at the pistol round in that second half. Earlier we did hear from Forsaken, just heading into the series.
Halo guys,
Yo, kamu tuh pemainnya.
aka Forsaken.
Wow, Isper, Cuk.
PaperX. Against Genji, we lost.
Cici, Cuk.
But I don't feel anything and I don't have any regrets. I mean, I can tell that we're gonna lose because, I mean, they play well. But at the same time, I would say we just want to go lower bracket,
GG.
because I know that they're good. And also we're not in a good shape.
Tumben lah di sini.
Shaky
Iya.
map, shaky roster. Also, it's like
Ah,
we're
ini,
not
Wak.
doing as great as last time. So I didn't like
Nyoba.
regret or whatever.
Coba.
Something needs to do a little bit more. He's done some damage, and there's the follow-up. A shot right to Texture's temple. That's going to put us in a 4v2 with PaperX. Definitely
Sangat.
favored to take this pistol now.
Karena
Forsaken fallen.
belum bermain bersama Kak
There's
Mei.
a chance. Something though delivers. Okay, he's up top and not spotted. Easy peasy.
If we meet Loud,
Kak
I
Mei.
mean, I'm just gonna go all in, and I hope you guys
Kak
enjoy
Mei.
our W gaming.
Kak
Actually, I
Mei.
feel like we shouldn't have been in the playoff. We should have been like lost, like long time ago, maybe against TH or KC. Because
Jadi
I feel
balas
like lucky, I would say last
Waduh,
time.
aku nggak ngechat
like I
lagi.
said, when we go lower bracket,
Saya tidak
and I
ngechat
feel like
lagi
we
karena saya tahu
are able to
diri.
play the match, finish the match. No
Saya
matter
lebih
who
memilih
lose, we will,
mundur.
like, improve very fast. And hopefully in lower bracket, we will show you guys on our improvement.
Yeah, Forsaken just handling that pressure like water off a duck's back. Coming into this entire tournament, just with the lowest of expectations, and now they're just improving at a meteoric pace, looking to really just take it to a team like Loud. They have the lead here at the half of a decider map.
Yeah, I think that one of the big problems for PaperX is that
Oh, enggak sih, enggak set. Nek PaperX menang, aman. Semua aman, bro.
Understanding of what was going on. And the more that you try to force that kind of thing and worry about the fact that you're outside of
Berarti
it,
lek menang,
the worse it gets.
ketemu
Just getting
Sentinel.
absorbed into this tournament seems to have brought back some of that synergy. Some of the single-mindedness that we see from them, the hive mind of PaperX.
Misal menang,
Deadly.
ketemu Genji meneh.
Have been, well, I hesitate to say important because they did flip-flop at the beginning of this map. But they could be decisive. Everybody on PaperX grouped up to try to punish 2Es.
Etan Cuk iki. So,
Disrespected
Koyo
for
ngono,
that one here. 2 years.
gila, Cuk.
Backs away with the TP. Off-angle approach now with the paranoia. Sent flying onto the left-hand side. 2 years. So not accounted for. QCK just trying to back him up as well as bail him out. And they are just collecting all sorts of kills, but the damage done through the wall. Not enough to collect the kill onto Devi.
Too far forward and not playing great angles.
itu nih
Pushing
main.
themselves into spots where they couldn't quite get it.
Ngapa,
Overextending
Mas?
to deal
Loh,
with
loh,
it.
loh, loh, loh.
Sadak shocks himself on the corner but does pick up the kill.
Getting flustered, perhaps. Okay, there eventually with the reset of the aim.
Tadi
Less.
counter tapi
V3.
oh ya.
Seed Magic.
damage, but you can't get through this wall. It's so powerful on the pistol, on both sides.
Tapi iya, dong Paprex ketemu pirang kali
It's such a nice addition
di
to the KO Gecko comp that a lot of teams have been looking at.
Look at this, too much to clear.
FEW tol.
Man in his face, follow through with the bullets. No kill collected, but he does have too much to do.
Seru sih.
Already the time's getting
Cuman nek
late, and look at
finale
this. Stanced up,
sisane
holding
iki
their
kita
ground,
wis
swinging off
ketebak
the
Mas.
contacts, and that's
Kudune ya.
pistol round,
Kudune
one
ya
out for them.
rak jauh
It's
beda
so
hasilnya.
underboard. Like you said, you know, we've been talking about the details of the
Dibantai-bantai.
despite the initial start of this first half, but really it
FEW
sets them up
dhewe terus
beautifully.
ya. Nah,
Look, slow up there. Divine is used as bait.
tapi sing
They
ketemu
really do
Gending
bait
sih
Loud
ewe
into
dadi sak.
taking bad fights in that situation. All of this was set up as well by an underhand KO flash combo with the Dizzy. I know that people have been looking at this something POV
Gak ngerti nih Mas. Masih misteri iki ngopo sih anjing?
talking about how he doesn't
Masih misteri.
And frankly, Paper X moved fast enough that sometimes you wouldn't even use a second round of Gecko util.
Yo
Les
nek
takes
scream
an opportunity
dhewe.
to try to go
Wow.
aggressive,
Iki wis mulai
gambling on the
turni
fact that Paper
dhewe.
X would not
Aduh,
have
iya anjing.
everybody stacked in B main.
This is where the danger
Tapi
zone
semisal nek scream dhewe kan mesti
team like Loud
wis
as
iku
well,
lah.
because
Ono
really
sing
wasn't missed around.
dipelajari ya
Apex were
kudu.
attack side again. Very ult generation heavy, something now one away from the Thrash to be used into the bonus round into the next. Assuming Loud can't do too much more damage here on their retake.
Tapi nek semisal Eme emang sen pedes. Piye ya?
Into
Whoa.
backside as well.
Whoa.
Kawazi picking up two. Still got that wall, but two is on
Masang
the
ora
front.
gak?
Yeah, holding the
Nice.
Good adjustment by Mind Freak.
Close. A decent opportunity
Let's go,
actually
bro.
to turn that away. And send us down the spiraling path of thrifty after thrifty. But it was not to be. And as you were saying, Brett, building up something's ultimate here is really devastating for Loud. Difficult to deal with. And I think the addition of the Sage Wall just makes so many of these post plants a little easier to play. This is a map where we've seen a lot of teams develop really solid retake setups,
Yeah.
where the amount of utility coming in just ends up being overwhelming.
Jadi
If you
ketemu
force the
tim
retakers
Heretic
down a
so
certain path dictated
wise
by
lah.
the Sage Wall,
Kenapa Mas?
things get a little easier
Oh, malah.
for Paper X.
Kudu ketemu TH.
Throw a wrench into the plans of a lot of teams.
Mining.
but Sage is so unorthodox on this map. Early Thrash. Used to set up here, out
Yeah.
towards A.
But a fake.
Tanding ke ulang ae piye Mas? Mulai saka awal.
Yeah, I mean, he did have the spike on him, but the rest of his team now working.
Ben ono tontonan
into
meneh
it.
lho.
Pop flash,
Selok
Warlock.
engkas kan bar to.
Hearing all this noise,
Bingung
hearing all these
nang
sounds,
nonton
he
apa
can't
meneh.
survive it past the box. The call is made though. Loud want to commit into this fight. I'm going to commit heavily out wide. Miscommunication perhaps. Something drops down as well, forced into the spectator's seat with the spike drop down. It's a favoured situation for Loud now.
They have Spike. Very difficult to retrieve. If Monier gets another smoke online, which he does, he just sneaks in, sneaks out, and now all of Loud are in a pretty rough spot. They don't have any map control or information. Could be worried about some lurking happening here. So just like that, suddenly there's a lot of doubt in the heads of this Brazilian team.
Daylight robbery from Monier.
Lunga wae kowe, lunga.
As soon as the smoke gets deployed.
It wasn't
Wis,
there though.
bablas ke
Now,
meneh, bablas ke.
because Loud was so heavily stacked up around that spike position, as you were
Yeah.
saying, they've lost all map control.
Yeah.
They're having to triple up and reclear everything together just in case.
And they're slow to do it as well. What you see from Paper X
30
is that
seconds
after
left.
throwing that A utility, they were immediately up mid. And I was praising Sadak in the games that I've been recently watching of Sunset. He's very aware of those mid lurk timings, but Paper X are faster than Loud are anticipating. And didn't we see that all the time on Ascent? With individuals finding timings ahead of when they were going to be expected. And
Got
look
nothing
at
to
the
do.
map here, how far away the nearest Loud player is. Paper X have got tons of time to try to reposition into a spot where they can upend the player disadvantage.
Miles away. Apex seeking to try and
Stun.
find them deep into
Wow.
these angles. Now Loud already for it with those protocols. Moniet left alone to his devices. Only the Spectre in his hands. It would have to be a miracle. It would have to be mistakes to be made.
Why?
Less though. Hot on his heels as well to really collect up that kill and get that trade online. So that was a bonus round for PaperX. The two players surviving for Loud, they might even consider that a bit of a success.
Yeah, I think I would.
Mati teluk.
And Paper X's
Bisa,
economy is in
bisa,
a really
bisa.
nice spot. And not just that, they did find a timing through mid.
Selesaikan.
So anytime one of these timing-based macro plays works, it's going to add another layer of confusion in Sadak's calling.
Yeah.
Because with a composition like this, you have to be mobile to plug the gaps. And if you're slower than your opponents, you're going to leave those gaps open. Something, of course, he is picking up the attack side operator here on Gecko. his opping was sublime on Ascent. One of the big reasons that Loud are now one map away from elimination.
Massive round for Loud. Have to really lock this one up. Pretty heavy with the economical investment across the board from Loud. I mean, 2 players with a bit of money to spare, all picked up as well. So Forsaken just doing his darndest to try and build up towards that big ultimate.
Oh, oke
A
oke
very
oke.
slow beginning to the round from PaperX.
Udah lah, aku main melu sahur.
Choosing to try to fight A main there. Recommitting to the angle after this utility was thrown.
Pushing them up. Here's a pivot though, straight into market. They got anything to try and push 2 years off. Here are the sound cues. Tidy placement there with a snake bite. Less well timed.
Sampai no mas.
Here we go. Drone
Salam
into
kangen.
Munyet.
Anjay.
Second tag fakes like he could be TPing away, but he still maintains his position. And
Lucu
his
lucu mas,
composure.
bercanda
Through
bercanda.
mid now. Deep knife going to be landing into market. Wall through. Broken immediately. A couple of shots sprayed out. Can't quite break it though. Munyet could really be that insurance player now. Coming out from the back. Here's the rotation. QCK collects him. Quick on it with the trigger. Now we see it. Players lit up like a beacon. Something only the one into the
Zero.
trade. Something Forsaken just
Wah.
trying to each other, but they are overwhelming them. Mindfreak towards
Wah.
He's dodging and weaving, gliding across the floor. He finds it now, leaving it to Divai. Time ticking away. What is the call here? Tapping again, this time less sticking, not making the same mistake as the prior game. 2
Oh,
years,
shit,
locking
bro.
down the angle and approach.
Loud coming out with a big win there after allowing PaperX to get in onto site. Really crucial that they picked up that mid lurk. And QCK's at the bottom of the scoreboard, but most of that is because he found it so difficult on the attack side to get in through A main. He just got beaten up over and over again in that same position. It's not really that he's even been able to take some fair duels. And I'm surprised at how much the PaperX economy was hurting there. They came into that round with a Stinger and a Spectre,
Yeah.
even though I thought they were taking the previous one as a bonus. Clearly they didn't. PaperX messing with their own economy a little bit has put them in a really tough spot.
Oh, they're going to be happy with it. Ooh, wall down. Face
What the-
potentially can hear it. The footsteps rumbling towards him. He's looking for a tussle and a tumble. Less backing away. Will be postured away from that angle.
It's very rare that you see less scrambled, but he did seem a little less than his calm usual self there. Forced to backpedal at some pace.
Clear game plan here for PaperX, making sure that they can absorb up all the orbs around the map. Brooks now defaulting back over towards B main.
And Tui's getting posted on A with the AWP. This is something that Loud have brought out fairly recently, but Tui's has been doing quite a lot of AWPing at this event so far.
Yeah.
And it allows them just to post him up on A, and they're not too worried. They can keep stacks towards the rest of the site. Having said that, Loud are mostly playing B for retake here. Not going to have any way of being able to challenge this.
Inside the market, Dizzy. What's that connection there onto QCK? So it looks like the wall is intact. Wasn't able to spam it down in time. Forsaken. Tux. Side by side wants to play together now. Him and something here. Running back forwards, facing with it. The flash is not connecting here. Less running back, feeling
What?
really the heat and the pressure. Mikowski seeks to relieve it. And now back into the action and the fight. Rolling front, committed. You're not getting away with that one yet. TP to evacuate and escape the ire. Still after shock. Plenty of util left. Where that come from? Mindfreak. 2 on the table now. 2 left to go. Dropping down. Those are not on it. Looking through. Another tap. Will force Mindfreak out into the open. Kawazine really seeking to deny this one. Not half. Running him down. Mindfreak performs magic before our bloody eyes.
What a ridiculous round for PaperX to get. That was them on basically an eco round as well. Going to be labeled as a Red Bull clutch, but could just as easily be called the Thrifty. Their economy was not good. It all came down to Mindfreak, and Loud could not find a safe position to go for the half.
Hesitation just to stick it and trust that they could potentially just hold down the angle. Look, Kawazine in that spot. I mean, it's super reminiscent, honestly, of the other day.
It's very
How to
Whoa,
play Send, John
whoa.
QT's playing the
Yeah.
clutch. They can't decide who's sticking, a bit of miscommunication, maybe getting frantic.
It's very tough in those situations where you don't have smoke utility because you don't isolate angles that the clutch player there, Mindfreak, could be peeking from. So really, you got to just tap and push. But instead, they were, know, Sadak's trying to get half, wondering if he can, trying to tap to bait out the peaks, hoping that they can rely on their individual skill to win it out. And Mindfreak simply better in that moment. What a way for things to turn around. Because other than that, the game plan is actually not really working here for PaperX. So weirdly enough, it's Loud to take the tactical timeout, but I think Alex will be happy to have a little chat with his team here.
Yeah.
Because what's happening is PaperX are getting into post-plant situations quite a lot, and then they're forced to go for some post-plant aggression, and there's a bit of anti-synergy with the Sage Wall and the positioning. You saw them swing with just stingers into market there without too much util at hand. They're finding it difficult to pick those timings to disrupt the Loud retake. And if they just sit there, they can do that against other teams, but not against the comp that Loud are running. They're going to get obliterated. See if they change things up or coordinate that post-plant aggression just a tad bit better.
Strange buy though for Loud.
It is, yeah. It is a
Invested into
force.
it.
Jadi titip salam buat teman-teman.
But Les would rather
Nah,
have a
nek
Sheriff
koyo
than
ngene,
anything else.
This guy,
tak
I mean,
chat
he is
langsung.
incredibly consistent with it.
He is.
It's insane.
Got some of the best
Salam
raw aim based on
telah.
his crosshair placement that I've ever seen.
Slow beginning though for PaperX, nice and cautious off the rip. Trying to see if Loud will overplay their hands. Initially, lots of ults really to work with for PaperX on top of that, so given that B main control essentially for free.
Terus selalu
There's
jadi
that
salam.
hesitation though in terms of
Gak
how they want to play it.
apa-apa.
Yeah, it's
Dia
interesting.
dengar
They've
sini.
spotted 2Es,
Yui.
and that seems to be a hard read that if they see 2Es over towards A,
Terus
it's
tak
not
DM
the
langsung.
Phoenix setup. Because they were ready to go for the B exec there, and now they've just come all the way back over towards A. And that's got to be a call from Mindfreak, I think, because he's the only one getting info on this side of the map earlier. They're going to hit a fairly weak site. 30 seconds on the clock.
Orb rebounding, 2 years chance to play spoiler, but no, he's out of there, so. I'm sticking around to find out with this one. Hunter's Fury to try and deny this one. Plants will be disrupted, flash up into the air. It's actually a nasty one as well, connected onto a multitude of players. Now the plant and the pit all layered down onto the site. This does make it difficult. Toxic Screen going to be covering the entirety of the field.
No way of really using these flash players to retake in this spot.
Absolutely. Paranoia though, Monyet going to be using this one nice and early, still holding for the shotgun. Molly at your feet, Mindfreak going to be pushed out to the open, and he is the critical player. Has to dodge and duck and weave away from these bullets. Led just flying straight past him as they're trying to attempt to clear through. Look at the orb placement on high. 2 years. He's got so much more to do from this position. He just doesn't have enough info to really work with. Disastrous here for Loud with
Aduh. Menang.
in fact, the total investment. Correction from me, Loud, they did put everything into that one.
It was weaker because it
Let's
was
go,
a
bro.
force. They were coming into it with at least one Sheriff and I think a Stinger to work with.
Yeah.
But they forced into this to try to stop PaperX from getting to 11 on the board. Loud are now only 2 lost rounds away from being eliminated in 4th place.
When was the last time that happened?
I mean, top 4 at the Masters, listen, that is not bad by any means. They made it to playoffs, but when there's only 8 teams here, sure, 8 of the top teams. Look at this, another boost play coming out from PaperX.
Oh! It's disgusting.
They were innovating with that over towards A, and they do it again. Very reminiscent of when they first brought out the Sage comp on Pearl. Bait out the fights here from QCK and 2Es. And this tower is going to be crumbling down, making a fool of Leicester boot.
It's pure whimsy. Smiles on the faces as they're having it. I mean, they have brought this to series point, match point. Loud on the verge of being eliminated.
Kelarin gak sih?
And I don't think many people had PaperX winning in
Kelarin gak sih,
2-0
bro?
fashion. Loud now need 5 in a row to be able to pull this out.
Mampus.
And for them to go for this boost play,
Nah kowe.
they know that the Dizzy has been broken.
Ngepick sisan kowe
So they know
modder
that
kowe,
somebody is
he?
top mid, waiting to
Kapok
break
mu
that piece of
kapan?
utility. They boost up, get the punish, and all of that, and around where Loud were just going for the eco anyway, trying to play for overtime. Forced to by the Force in round 19. Or round 18, I should say.
And this is now going to take some heroics. Attack there with a knife. What's
He's so
the call
fast.
now for PaperX?
He's so fast.
fast! Man doesn't
Ooh,
care,
oh,
man.
oh.
Disrespectful in
Aduh.
nature.
Ah.
On the head. Flipped up by Kawazin as he does seek out that trade, and he will be granted it. Now to Thrash, though. Set this one up.
Wah.
Seeking to
Waduh.
reposition Kawazin. lays down the law and potentially gives them a fighting chance.
Can he be the hero just when his team needs it? One more onto Forsaken, important, and he takes it.
Good control.
4K in the round.
Something
damn.
drops him though. No ace to be really
Oh, damn.
looking for.
Bro.
Something.
GG kah, bro,
Out
bro.
to seemingly nowhere. 1v1 and Loud. Desperation.
Nice.
QCK knows the position. Throws the molly. Flash round dodge. Juked. Avoids it.
Ah!
Saves the day.
Andy.
It takes such heroics from
Andy
Loud
bang
to
something.
just put the first of 5 necessary rounds on the board.
Pikir ya Andy.
Kalanzin was slowed up. Top A link. Had to take out 2.
Gak apa-apa, gak apa-apa abis ini.
It looked like the spacing was good. And he'd already shut down that play from Monyet. Deletes 2 players as they come around the corner there. Mind Freak and Divide both falling. And it still came down to a 1v1.
Andy.
Oh.
You have to see that repeated a few more times. Loud, ideally with a couple more players intact, because taking some nasty hits to the eco. It'll have to be done if they want to stay alive in the series, stay alive in the tournament.
Something looking to try to take an early timing here. Dueling against Les. I don't see how he's going to find the opportunity facing against this Viper wall. Les normally plays a little more passive, actually.
We have seen, you know, when Loud's back is up against the wall, Les tends to take matters into his own hands. Mind Freak
Nice.
taken out. They still have the res online for this one, but Divide with him falling, no longer available.
The reaction from PaperX, looking to try
so-
to hoover up this B control. Given that Les was peeking over towards Market, they
Straight
know
in
it's
there.
empty.
Dizzy committed by something. He's looking to see if he can get himself onto the deep
Is it?
line. You don't expect that. Drops it. 3 versus 3 now. The knife attack. Info gathered. At least that they know that Les is going to be there, but he's already playing now. High-low setup. The rest of his team out wide here. Something going for the peak. Going for the peak.
Nice.
In the perfect timing, a bullet to the chest with the IGL down and deleted. 2 left standing. Les again. Heroics are necessary. And it has to be coming out swinging,
Where'd it go?
traded. 1 to stand, 2 years to do the most. A fake with the TP, a paranoia evaded and dodged and juked, but the crossfire setup is too strong, it's too damn strong. And Paper
Nice!
steal it away. Loud, drop it out. See you later, sent to the airport.
And something closing out Sunset, doing everything for them today.
GG bro.
What a time, what a game to come alive. The best player for PaperX in map 1 and map 2,
GG.
sending home one of the VCT giants.
Sentinel diobok-obok.
What a way to have this rivalry continue with
Yoi.
PaperX being able to
Pokoknya
get the advantage.
juara lah.
For a team
Nggak iso
that
juara,
loves
mbuh.
brawling, loves
Bicaranya
playing against
juara.
opponents that are
Tekstur
swinging
mules po.
loud and able to find
Kena
the control
apa,
here
mbuh?
today to shut them down.
Tekstur meteor kabeh.
We'll say goodbye to Loud. Not the run they wanted, but an admirable
Menang
effort
BO.
nonetheless. Top 4 really gets heated when you have 8 teams at this tournament because the competition starts from the get-go.
Yeah, and they put themselves in a difficult position, honestly. This new style that they've come up with, it does kind of cause them to have to plug gaps constantly without that Sentinel. They had to be mobile, they had to be aggressive, and they're playing against a team that wrote the book on playing an aggressive, mobile, constantly doing stuff kind of style.
Certainly did.
And PaperX still had that diligence to their play today. Still had a really nice, close, steady attack side.
Absolutely insane stuff that we've witnessed as PaperX squad lives yet another day. Let's send it down to the analyst desk to break it all down.
Unbelievable stuff from PaperX. So many people doubted them coming into this series. A lot of people were just flat out giving it to Loud. But
Bener, saya
today
tahu.
is the day belongs to W Gaming.
This team is inexplicable. Anytime you think
Dia
they're
memang
real
fokusnya
level,
jualan
this
bundle,
team
Mas.
steps up. They've improved so much from the first match they showed here in Madrid from losing that final to Gen G to now showing up here.
Yang mau
and
minta tanda
honestly,
tangan?
I think playing an exceptional game against Loud. They knew how to deal with this comp. The individuals are stepping up. Somehow,
Ya udah
something
Switul,
looks
bro.
like a top 5 player of the event, and he's hopping on Gecko every map. It's ridiculous.
But you know what though, I gotta
Anu
say, I'm
Muntaber.
liking the ideas that I'm
Muntaber
seeing
di
there. Even
tempat,
though
Muntaber
sometimes
di
it looks a little
stage,
bit
bro.
rough, I like the way that something's just proactive, wants to get out there. He'll send Wingman to go and handle business and give him a little bit of more information. He's using
Boleh.
the kid in a way that is working for him.
Yeah,
you know?
we really didn't know what this team's style was going to be without Jing, but they have continued to find themselves. Monyet has
Identity.
improved throughout this event, and they've hit that flow state again, it seems.
Yeah, and that is very scary for anyone else that they will go up against. The question is, obviously, can they maintain this momentum? But here's the fascinating thing about this game, is that, quite honestly, Mimi, and I say this with full respect, it was like a boring game to a certain extent. PaperX were kind of just doing their thing. They were drilled. They had moments where they just looked very well put together. They weren't trying to go for anything too wonky, but when they did, it looked like they had a plan. It looked like they had a very solid approach. It was honestly a joy to see this team
Wah!
throughout this competition here in Madrid.
Yeah, I mean, Forsaken as well. He's the guy you have to highlight, playing seemingly every agent, doing so incredibly well. The guy has improved to an unbelievable degree along with his team. I think we've really seen this evolution, this next step of PaperX, and I just don't know how they keep getting away with it.
To live another day. Let's give it up for PaperX! I am here with Davai. First of all, congratulations on the
Ini pas
win.
bikin
Now, I have a very first important question.
cek ngantuk.
Your team wears the banner
Yo.
W Gaming. Can you
Besok menang
explain
Bek
to me
Sentinel ketemu
how
Genji
does
meneh.
an opping
Dewe
gecko
lah.
fit so
Dewe
well
balik.
to a W Gaming team?
Tu nobar nek
I
iku.
mean, technically on Sunset we don't really have duelists, but I mean, men just love to op, you know. Like it doesn't matter what agent you put on him. Like he just like, oh, I'm gonna op, I'm gonna op, I'm gonna
Apa
op.
kalau sakit?
Sorry?
On Ascent, you do have a duelist there.
I don't know. I guess maybe he thinks that he's still playing duelists, you know.
Nek
But
semisal
I
saya
think that's
dukung
why he's
Sentinel
going out.
Mas. Sesuk moro omahku, Mas.
Ok, le he preguntado que cómo puede ser posible que en un equipo que le gusta ir tan a la cara funcione también un gecko con el Operator, y la verdad que dice que funciona muy bien cuando no tienen duelista, y cuando también lo tienen, pues mira, él se siente cómodo, tiene esa manera de duelista, así que no aprovecharla. So,
Aman,
yesterday
aman.
we didn't get a chance to talk
Aku
to you
netral.
after your loss, right? I want you to tell me how the conversation was when you were back at the hotel thinking about today. Like, what were the learning points from yesterday?
Genji kalah. Putu nek iku,
I
putu.
think we learned that most of the teams when they play us, they kind of like really.
Sopo
study,
es yang
you know,
penting
so it's
juara
like,
rak
oh,
Genji lah nek.
we
Tak
have
gelem.
to either go even W Gaming or try to counter them, you know. Like, I mean, for this, we match up against Loud and we played them before. And I think our strat is probably just counter less, you know. I mean, he's been giving us a lot of troubles last time. So, yeah, as long as Les doesn't play well, I think we are good to go.
So interesting. Le he preguntado porque obviamente después de ayer no escuchamos cómo se sentían después de la derrota. Dicen que para la preparación de
Wis menang
hoy
kebotakan
lo más
ora.
importante era counterear a
Mesti
Les,
dong bajingan
esa
teko-teko
libertad
aneh.
que a veces tiene y